it's past the tipping point, meaning there's no
Okay.
longer a saving of the West. What do you say
Well,
to
the
that?
first part, you're probably right. I mean, we're in a complete terminal decline. And it's hard to disagree with that. A moral decline, economic decline, financial decline, fiscal decline, because there's plenty of uncompromising Christian churches. But generally, yes, it is true that a lot of Christian denominations are becoming more like the world and not following the word. We're living through what Nietzsche predicted in the 1860s, 1870s, and 1880s, where he did not proclaim it, but he stated God is dead. And the next, and again, it's misquoted because people think he was celebrating the death of God. He was not. What he was saying is that, hey, you in the West, if you are going to replace God with consumerism and the Industrial Revolution and hyper individualism, be careful what's going to take its place. And we're kind of living through the kind of mixture of synthetic worldviews that take its place when Christianity or a cogent Western morality deteriorates. And I'm all for entrepreneurship and for people to succeed, but you must balance that, you must counterbalance it with duty and obligations. If it's all about just the pursuit of your own pleasures and your own delights, you will be not just empty, I think you're going to be miserable. And so we build an entire society, I think, on this very dangerous moral pretext. And we wonder why we have the most depressed, suicidal, anxious generation in history. I totally sympathize with every accusation of American Christianity that you could imagine. They could be hypocritical. Their churches are too big. They don't give enough to the poor. I think some of that is a little silly. But it is a fact that as we have turned our back on American Christianity with the roots of it, that we are less free, we are more confused, and we are filling it with these other fake religions that we could talk about. The religion of anti-racism, the religion of scientism, right? Even earth worship at times, which is hyper,
Global warming.
Yeah, environmentalism. And so there's a great book by Tom Holland. He calls it Dominion. It's not a great title, but it's Holland with an E. But yeah, it's how Christians revolutionized the world. I encourage everyone to read it. And he's actually a secular agnostic who argues that what we consider to be common sense, what we consider to be normal, is a traditional inheritance from the Christian history. And you might not like Christianity, you might not believe Jesus is the king of the world. I do. But you should at least accept that if you remove Christianity as the bedrock of your civilization, be careful what you fill it with, because currently we're filling it with garbage. I am a capitalist. I think that markets work, but they must be in harmony with other duties that make the money meaningful. Otherwise, it's just nothing more than pleasure or things that will erode in dust. So it must point towards something. You must aim high. That was the Western ideal, right? And that's why the Declaration is such a beautiful document. It mentions God 4 times. And in fact, in the end of the Declaration, it's basically a prayer. We don't teach this to our kids. It's an appeal. It says, we appeal to the supreme judge of the world. And they're pointing high to something larger than themselves. It's very Platonic, to use a phrase that was earlier, that there's things that we can't quite feel, that cannot be looked at in a microscope, but we know they're real. We know love, we know justice, we know mercy, we know kindness, we know compassion is real. And in fact, we need to build a society around that. What the postmodernists and the post-structuralists have done post-1960s is they basically say if it's not material, if you can't see it in cause and effect, it's not real. And that's a tragedy to believe. And so yes, the byproduct of that is, so you have two things happening at once. America pulls back from its values that once defined it.
Can you go to the chart
it's
if you
pulled
go a
up.
little lower?
It's very powerful. But then they kind of buried the lead. In fact, they didn't incorporate it, which I just want to reiterate. It is a fact that we are the most depressed, most suicidal, most anxious, most medicated, most alcohol addicted in history. Now you might say, well, Charlie, it's causation and correlation. Hard to say that they aren't connected. Hard to say that if patriotism, religion, community involvement, having kids collapses, and all the negative indicators skyrocket, that there isn't some sort of relationship there.